What do we talk about for communication? Because that's another really big topic.
Well, body language would be the first one,
Okay.
I think.
Body language, like nonverbal communication, eye contact. So, fun fact, 90% of all communication is nonverbal. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's almost all of our communication.
I know, that's why it's important. I'm glad we're talking about it today.
Me too.
So we're including everything then in body language, like eye contact.
Facial expressions.
Okay. What else?
Whether we're slouching or we're sitting straight up or standing straight up.
Ooh, whether we're crossing our arms or if we
yes.
have open posture.
Yes, looking at someone in the eyes or looking at the ground while you talk. So I have a really cool exercise. Do you guys want to try it with me?
Is it that one I did? Okay, yeah, I like that one. I like
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, are you ready, Ashley?
I'm ready.
Okay. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, or you can look down at the ground. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. So now I want you to clench your fists as hard as possible. And I also want you to tighten your face muscles. So clenching your teeth, squeezing your eyes really tight. And we're going to do this for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now I want you to release. And I want you to relax your face muscles. And I want you to kind of shake your arms out a little bit. And then face your palms to the sky, resting your hands on your knees or table, whatever's comfortable. And we're going to hold that for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, when you're ready, open your eyes. So, what did you guys notice?
I noticed that I wanted to just like squeeze everything. Just like the last time I did that exercise.
Yeah, during the first part
Yeah,
of it.
the first part, yeah.
How about
Like
you,
I
Ash?
almost did this with my arms just because. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked letting go. I felt like I could breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those two parts, the first part is willfulness, which is this feeling of being angry and tight and not open to listening to anybody and going in. And the second one is willingness. So willingness to be open, to hear people, to collaborate, to build trust with clients, okay? So which one do you think a client would prefer, having a volunteer come towards them?
Well, they'd probably prefer willingness with our hands open. Yeah.
It would feel a lot more open.
I think it's really important for volunteers to pay attention to how they show up. You know, this includes your tone of voice, it includes your body language, it includes eye contact, making sure that you're aware and having insight on how you show up in that space and what that interaction looks like.
To add to that, I think curiosity and non-judgment and validation is so important to teach to volunteers.
Right.
Do you have an example of that? I'm just thinking because it's hard to, these concepts are really hard if you just like mention them. Is there like an example that you could share that would help people really learn that?
I think the biggest thing is, I'll give an example, but checking in with your body and intervening early. So if you are, say, for example, you have a really bad day at work and you're really frustrated and you've been thinking about, you know, maybe a conversation that happened and you're getting off work and heading home, the likelihood of you having a pretty stressful car ride is high, right? So if you pay attention to your body, if you acknowledge that, you know, maybe your heart is racing, that you're feeling stressed, and take a moment before getting in your car to take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe you kick off your shoes, put your feet in the grass. Maybe you get in your car and you turn on your favorite song and just sing really loudly. Do something early to tell your body it's time to relax.
communication really is the building block to trust too, and that's what we're trying to do, is build trusting relationships. So I think that's really important, is you can communicate that you have respect for someone, that you're actually listening to someone.
Another thing that I think is really important is making sure people in their communication don't say but. So when you are, somebody's telling a story and you're just like, and you respond saying but, and finish with something else, you're dismissing. You may be dismissing or negating what they said. So something I learned in improv is yes and. So that you are validating, acknowledging what they say, and then adding to it instead of taking away from it.
Yeah.
There's so many times I've worked with clients and they think validation is telling a story that is similar. And although they're trying to show empathy, it's actually taking away from the person's emotions and how they're feeling in that moment.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know, what would be a good example to show volunteers?
Well, I just think if you can think of someone who is like your best friend, someone who really is your go-to, your ride or die, the person that you call when, you know, you just need to let it out. How does that person make you feel? And that's how you want to make someone else feel. You want them to feel heard and listened to, and not that you're rushing to give them advice. People hate advice.
They're always trying to fix it.
Don't fix it. Listen. I think the real thing is, like, that's why I love my best friends, is they listen to me and they let me have my emotions and they give me validation that what I'm thinking and feeling is okay. And then confidentiality, we can't forget to talk about that, because we all live by HIPAA and volunteers don't. So we're used to keeping things really confidential, and it's super important in building trust. They could be sharing a lot of really intimate personal details with you, and to go and tell anybody else will really break your trust.
Making sure that volunteers follow the organization's policies and procedures is really important.
That's true. Some have rules against whether or not you can be on social media with folks, or where and when you can meet them, and those types of things for their own client safety. And being really respectful and develop relationships and being professional while following guidelines. Like, it's okay to have friendships, but they shouldn't be crossing the line into relationships or anything like that when you're in that volunteer role. Because there is, again, a power differential that exists that people need to be aware of. It might not be a true friendship. You might think it is, but they might not feel that way, and they have the right to feel that.
Boundaries are really important. They're important for the clients and they're important for our volunteers. So making sure that you know where your boundaries are in regards to safety and communication and sharing privacy or private information. Also knowing where your boundaries are with how much you can give. We want you to stick around. We want you to be able to continue to do this work. So know when you are exhausted, know if you're giving too much or if things don't work for you. And really just pay attention to your boundaries.
Yeah, know when you're having a bad day, know when you need to reschedule. I mean, absolutely showing up is important, but showing up in a bad mood is not helpful. So knowing your limits is really important for longevity and volunteering too.
I think that's why it's so important to, as a volunteer, to have a routine of checking in with themselves, asking, what emotion am I feeling? Did I have a bad day today? Am I going to be able to volunteer in the way that I want to? Am I going to be able to help a client the way that I want to? And I think sometimes volunteers feel like they have no other choice because they've committed. And I think it's really important for volunteers to know that they do. And that they need to advocate for themselves too, so that they're in it for the long run.
Thanks, guys.